Well, he's older, he's younger, but I'm actually older. I'm really older than he is. And so I wasn't 15 when this came out. And it's a kind of old movies, you know, old guys, old movies. It's kind of interesting. There was a young internet critic who was talking about my first sort of commercial feature film, Shivers, and he said, Cronenberg really nailed the 70s in that movie. And I said, well, I was the 70s in that movie. I mean, it wasn't as though I was, he thought it was like a retro film where I lovingly recreated the 70s. I thought, that's really strange, because of course to me the 70s were invisible at the time, because that's when I made the movie. So let's just say, well, maybe in some ways I nailed the early 80s at Videodrome, but once again, it was invisible to me, you know, because it's like whatever the 20s are right now to you. It's the air you breathe, and you don't think of it as anything other than the ambience around you. And so Videodrome is often thought of as a kind of... How many of you have seen this movie, by the way? Yay. Well, because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't, so that limits in a way what I want to say. But the movie has been seen as being quite prophetic, as you mentioned, you know, of everything from the internet to virtual reality to interactive television and so on. And I suppose one can say, well, did I anticipate all of that stuff? And I could say, yeah, but so what? You know, because nothing happens as a result of that. I wasn't really trying to be prophetic. I was really trying to, when you know, if you're an artist, really all you've got that might be unique is the antennae that you have that are sensitive to things that are in the air, that are around, but that other people perhaps are not as sensitive to for whatever reason. And so I think that's really what I was doing then, because there is a character in this movie who is modeled after Marshall McLuhan, and he was certainly around the University of Toronto when I was there, and his thoughts and his presence and his prophecies, which were quite astonishingly accurate, I must say. And so for me I was really trying to distill something of the zeitgeist of the time, I suppose, and also to make something that was entertaining and sexy and perverse, I think. You'll let me know if I did that or not. Speaking of Toronto, by the way, Roberto Benigni, who did the movie Life is Beautiful, an Italian filmmaker, when he came to Toronto and I met him, of course this was something he did when he won his Oscar for Life is Beautiful too, he immediately got on his knees and started to kiss my feet, my shoes. And so, you know, this is a great Roberto, because then he got up and he said, you know, Toronto, I was terrified to come to Toronto because all I knew of it was from your films. And then I come here and it's this wonderful, beautiful city. I said, well, you know, it's like Taxi Driver for Martin Scorsese or something like that in New York City. I mean, you're not making a documentary about your city, and you're not really trying to sell it as a place to visit. Although there are some people who might have come to Toronto just because of Videodrome. It would be entertaining to know who those people were. Beyond that, what can I say? Working with Debbie Harry was very interesting, because although she was a fantastic performer and very successful, she had, as a stage performer, she'd only done one or two movies. One was called Union City, I think. And I really had to, shall we say, micromanage her performance. And part of it was really, at one point she said, you mean everything that I've learned to do effectively as a stage performer is bad, is wrong for the movies? And I said, yes. That's right, because everything that she did was very big, very, very big, very grand, very sort of caricature, which was part of her act as Blondie, you know, as a member of Blondie. But it certainly didn't work in film. So it was a kind of an interesting experience. But we got along very well and had a very good time making the movie. James Woods we also got along very well, although he's really the only actor I've ever yelled at on set. Maybe we won't talk about that. Yeah, he used to like to drive me crazy just before the camera would roll, and finally I said, Jimmy, just get the fuck out there and do the lines, okay? Now normally you don't say that to an actor, you know, but to Jimmy, and Jimmy said, oh, okay, great. He wanted that, and I think you get that sense. It's why I cast him, and it's there. It's that kind of a dangerous, paranoid intellectualism, very interesting, that came from him and that you see in this movie. What else can I say? We shot on the streets of Toronto, of course, a lot. You say it was dirty and drab, kind of garbagey. I put that stuff there. It was perfectly spotlessly clean, like Toronto always is, except for the garbage truck. Well, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, I think for the rest, we just have to see the movie, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.